Hello, everyone. Welcome to the World Tapping Circle. I'm your host, Sonya Sophia. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Welcome, welcome. So, today's theme is dealing with discomfort. So, I know that in everyone's journey, there is a patch or multiple patches or even long stretches of time where we are in a lot of discomfort. Sometimes that's physically as we're healing or recovering. Sometimes that's mentally as we have uncertainty or we're dealing with grief. Sometimes that's spiritually or existentially where we're uncertain of who we are and what we're doing and what we're supposed to be doing and if we're doing a good job. So wherever this tap finds you today, this is going to bring a sure way for you to learn how to process and move through that discomfort so that it doesn't shut you down, slow you down, or take you out of the game. Which is to say, this will help you move through with grace, with more ease, and with less stress or fear in your body so that you can surrender to the process, let it move, and come out feeling more peaceful, healthier, happier, and less traumatized. So one thing I want to say about discomfort is that sometimes we put ourselves in discomfort on purpose. An example of that would be doing a yoga class. You're doing these awkward, uncomfortable, stretchy, bendy poses for a reason, right? Hopefully it's not to show off to other people or to punish yourself from overeating or for lack of exercise, but it's really for the motivation of wanting to have free range of movement, wanting to have strength in your skeleton, wanting to have strong bones and a mind that can soften and hold space for discomfort, right? And sometimes we put ourselves through that doing something else, like going on a hike or going on a cleanse or a fast or detoxing from something. So whatever form of discomfort you accidentally find yourself in or life has put you in or you yourself have chosen, know that part of the process is going to be strengthening you, teaching you lessons, and giving you a stronger mind, a stronger body, a stronger spirit, and a more powerful ability to shine your light. So I'm going to say hi to those in the chat, and then we are going to focus our tap into whatever area or areas of discomfort you may currently be experiencing. Hi, Tracy in Alberta. Hello, Tara in Chicago. Samadhi in Austin. Jennifer in Grass Valley. Hi, Denise. Hi, Christina. Hi, Amati and Barbara. Hi, Joyce and William in Tokyo. Tuning in from Los Angeles, away from Tokyo. Well, welcome back to the U.S. All right. Hi, Roberto in Berkeley, and Linda, I see you. All these beautiful, familiar names. Thank you for saying hi to us in the chat. Hey, Shoto and Jackie. So many names popping up. Stephanie in Northern Virginia. Dealing with discomfort. So I, for one, am dealing with making some dietary changes, starting a slow, gentle move up the mountain of doing a full-blown detox and cleanse. So I'm going to be using this tap for me, and I have been tapping today and dealt with a lot of internal discomfort. You know, I do EFT on myself, and I also get people to support me to do EFT on myself. This is very helpful. So if you find yourself getting stuck, even with the tapping circle, you know, I do have a list of recommended practitioners, and we can always refer someone to you if you want to do some privates. All right, so tuning in to where you have discomfort going on, whether that's self-imposed, like I said, or that's something that you just find yourself in. Now, before we go too much further, I want to say that one thing I notice myself doing, and I think humans do in general, is when we're in a state of discomfort, we clamp down, right? We're so afraid of the discomfort, and we're also so afraid that it will last that we don't want to feel it. And we're so afraid that, this is just how our life is right now, or we run as fast as we can away from it, hoping that if I try to fast forward myself into the future, I won't experience the discomfort. Sort of like, I'm almost there, I'm almost there, I'm almost there, right? So you're always leaning forward. But I'll tell you that if you really want to release the discomfort, the place to pop through is in present time. So just keep that in mind as you're working with your own mind and your own patterns. Am I shutting down because I'm afraid if I feel it, it's going to last? Am I just trying to get through it and not process it right now? I'll process it later or never. As soon as I'm done, I'll be over there and it won't matter anymore, right? And the problem with that is you might numb out for the current moment, but you will probably end up having some PTSD. So anything that reminds you of that, or if you have to do another bout or version of it, it will be worse the next time because you didn't process the first time. So what we want to do is learn to process in real time, letting life flow through us, moving, adjusting, learning, growing, responding, but not shutting down and not overreacting. So there's that sweet middle place where we are in a relaxed state of presence and healing ourselves. Okay, that's the goal of today's tap. All right, sweet beings. Into the core causes questions we go. 5 minutes to ask yourself some questions related to your issue of discomfort. We'll pop out the other side and begin our tap. I'll see you in 5 minutes. All right, sweethearts. Hopefully you're ready to dive right in. Let's go into the matrix. Giving yourself a deep breath. Strong, soft exhalation. Finding the collarbones. Dropping down to the front of the chest. Pressing around. Finding those sore spots in the front of the chest. Giving them a light massage. Big, deep breath. Repeating after me, even though there's a part of me that is uncomfortable. Tuning in to what's uncomfortable for you. I'm tapping the eyebrow. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the temples. This part of me that is uncomfortable. Big deep breath. Tapping the front of the cheeks. Tuning in to that discomfort. Big deep breath. Tapping under the nose. Down to the chin. Part of me is really uncomfortable with, and then say what you're uncomfortable with. Tapping the chest. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though it's so hard to acknowledge this discomfort. Tapping down to the front of the ribs and breathing. So hard to acknowledge how uncomfortable I am with, and then say what it is. Tapping the side of the ribs. Part of me wants to deny that this is an issue. Just notice if there's a part of you that wants to check out, space out, distract yourself, think of something else. Tapping the inside of the wrist and breathing. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Big deep breath. Tapping the side of the thumb. Just accepting for now the part of you that wants to check out, disconnect from this topic. Tapping the index finger. Part of me is trying to protect myself from feeling this discomfort. Big deep breath. Tap the middle finger. It's okay that I'm uncomfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. It's okay that I'm uncomfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Big deep breath. Tap the little finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the side of the hand. I accept the part of me that is uncomfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Tapping the top of the head. I was taught from an early age. What were you taught about discomfort? Were you taught that you were going to be left alone to suffer? Were you taught that by your parents' example you should numb it with drugs or alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, sleep, porn, food? Tapping the eyebrows. Big, deep, noisy breath. Tapping the temples. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the cheeks. Big, deep breath. Tapping under the nose, even if a part of me learned to disregard my discomfort. Tapping under the lips through doing what? Maybe it's through simply tuning it out or shutting it down, disconnecting from your body. Or maybe it's running towards shopping or eating or distracting yourself with other people's pain or problems. Big deep breath, just sending compassion to yourself for being so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable that you picked up this habit. Big deep breath. What is the habit for you that you picked up to deal with your discomfort? Tapping the front of the ribs, big noisy breath, big deep breath. I learned to, and then say what it is. Overeat, stay in bed, run away, feel anxious and worried. Big deep breath, tapping the inside of the wrist. Let's say it again. I learned to do what? Maybe you learned to do all those things in rapid succession. Just say whatever the strategy has been for you about dealing with discomfort. Keep talking and tapping. This is where you lovingly bust yourself. Tap the side of the thumb. I've been, and then say what you've been doing to avoid facing this discomfort or feeling this discomfort. Tapping the index finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the middle finger, even if a part of me has done this for so long that it's become a habit. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I deeply and completely forgive myself, and if that's too hard to say I'm open to deeply and completely forgiving myself for creating this habit. And tap the little finger and breathe. It's understandable why I don't want to feel this discomfort. Tap the side of the hand. So ask yourself, why don't I want to feel this discomfort? What's the answer? Say it 3 times. Why don't I want to feel this discomfort? Why don't I want to feel this discomfort? Why don't I want to feel this discomfort? Tapping the top of the head. Because I'm afraid I'll get overwhelmed. Because I'm afraid I'll get stuck there. Tap the back of the head because, and then say what's true for you. And breathe. And tapping the eyebrows. Tapping the temples. Big deep breath. It's okay for me, tap the cheeks, to notice what's going on with my, and then say what you're talking about, with my diet, with my love life, with my mind, with my relationships. And tapping under the nose. Take 1 minute to describe what's going on. Keep talking and tapping the chin. Tapping the chest. Keep talking. What's going on? Tapping down to the front of the ribs. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though this is so hard. Big deep breath, just acknowledging how difficult it is. Tapping the side of the ribs. This is really intense. Tap the inside of the wrist. And part of me is worried that, I'm going to say what the fear or concern is here. Maybe you're worried you're going to fail, or you're worried that you're going to lose everything, or you're worried that you're not going to get through this. Tap the side of the thumb. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Big deep breath. I'm tapping the index finger. Even though there's a part of me that's been worried about, and say again what your fear or concern is here. Let yourself tune into that for a second as you tap your middle finger, just acknowledging maybe this is a very real and legit fear. Maybe this is just a story you're telling yourself. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger, but whatever it is, we're going to lovingly deal with it directly, allowing our nervous system to relax and adjust. Tapping the little finger, releasing the aversion to what's happening right here. Tap the side of the hand, even if what's going on makes me, and then say how you feel about it. Maybe it makes you angry, or maybe you feel super duper sad. Maybe you feel ashamed or embarrassed or infuriated. Tap the top of the head. I feel, and then say how you feel about the situation. Tapping the sides of the head and the back of the head. Big deep breath. And tapping the eyebrow. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the temples and breathing. Tapping the front of the cheeks, even if there's a part of me that feels, tapping under the nose, and say again, what are those strong feelings associated with this difficult and challenging situation? Tapping under the lips. Big noisy breath. Tapping the chest. I'm open to releasing this trapped energy of fear, anger, grief, shame, or blame that's coming through my body right now. Tapping the front of the ribs. I forgive myself for repressing these feelings out of fear. Tap the side of the ribs, telling myself I'm too busy, that I'll process it when it's over. Tap the inside of the wrist, big deep breath. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the side of the thumb, giving myself the possibility of releasing the stress about, and then say your issue, the thing that has been making you feel so uncomfortable. Tap the index finger. I'm open to loving and trusting myself. As I find the courage to take the next step, relaxing as much as I can during this process. Big deep breath. Tap the middle finger. Is it okay to relax even though I'm really uncomfortable with, and then say what the situation is? Maybe it's the way your stomach feels, or how long it's taking to get something done. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Big deep breath. Tapping the little finger. I'm allowing myself to process what's been going on, even if it started, and then say when you think this started. Maybe it started a really long time ago. Tap the side of the hand. Even if it started back when, and then describe when this discomfort really started for you. Big deep breath, keep talking and tapping. And who's involved in the situation? Maybe it's just you and your own choices. Maybe it's the people that raised you, or a person or people in your life. Tap the eyebrows. It's safe for me to release their influence. Tapping the temples. It's safe for me to release their influence in this situation. Tap the cheeks. What does that mean to you? Maybe it's their influence where you did something and now you're in it and you wish you hadn't and someone talked you into it. Or maybe it's somebody did something to you and you're holding on to how that impacted you, holding on to resentment. Or maybe you blame yourself. I'm releasing, tapping under the lips, everybody else's energy, including whose, just to give yourself a fresh reset. Whether it's pressure or blame or obligation, even responsibility, just for a few minutes. You can always pick that responsibility up later, but let's just set it down for a few minutes so that you can come back to yourself and resource yourself. To resource yourself. Tapping down to the front of the ribs. I'm giving myself the possibility of releasing, and then say their names. My mom's energy from this, or my dad's energy from this. My sister or brother's energy from this. My ex's energy from this. My kids' energy from this. Tapping the side of the thumb. I'm open to loving and trusting myself. Tap the index finger. Releasing any remaining, and then say what's there between you and that other person or those other people, even if it's you and an organization or you and God. Okay, what is the energy between? Like, I'm feeling put on, or I'm feeling resentful, or I'm feeling ripped off, or I'm feeling abandoned. Say it again, tapping the middle finger. Again, describing what you're feeling between you and them. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I don't like feeling this way. Just acknowledging how uncomfortable it is to have this energy between you. Tapping the little finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself exactly where I am in this process. Big deep breath. Accepting for now this part of you that's been holding on to this tug of war, these judgments, these fears, these complaints, this responsibility. Tapping the top of the head. It's safe for me to get my energy back. Tapping the side of the head, the back of the head. Releasing my fear of how difficult this is, how challenging this feels. And tapping the eyebrows. Releasing this remaining energy from my body between me and, say again, who is involved or what is involved. Tapping the cheeks, releasing this from my mind, from my heart, tapping under the nose, from my stomach, tapping under the lips, from my spleen. Say wherever you think it's affecting you, your liver, your intestines, your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. Tapping the chest. I'm allowing my energy to flow freely again, even if I'm used to suffering in silence. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm getting my energy back. Tapping the side of the ribs. Forgiving myself. Big deep breath. Tapping the inside of the wrist. And open to the possibility of forgiving, and then say whoever's involved or whatever's involved. Just to get your energy back, even if they don't deserve it, even if they haven't called begging for forgiveness, even if there's no way they're going to apologize. Tapping the side of the thumb. I'm releasing the burden of holding on to this anguish, fear, despair, injustice. Tapping the index finger because it's exhausting and I want my energy back now. Tapping the middle finger. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to loving and trusting myself as I continue to release this burden and any shame or regret, self-judgment, self-hatred. Big deep breath. Tapping the little finger. I allow myself to love and forgive myself. Tapping the side of the hand. For anything I've done or said. Tapping the top of the head. For anything I've done, said, or believed that's helped to prolong this discomfort. So let's think about that for a second. How could you have been contributing up until a few short minutes ago to intensifying or prolonging this discomfort? Maybe it's just simply I've been afraid of it, or I've been putting off dealing with it. Maybe it's, well, I have been rebellious and I've been deliberately doing the thing to myself that makes me so uncomfortable. Tapping the eyebrows. I'm open to releasing, tapping the temples. Whatever I've been saying, doing, or thinking, tapping the cheeks, including what? What thoughts do you think you've been thinking that have prolonged or intensified this discomfort? say them out loud, these limiting thoughts. And the reason we're saying them is to bring the light of day here, to bring empathy and compassion, and to check our thinking to see, do I want to keep believing that? Because only you can decide what you want to believe, right? I can't get into your head and be like, here, change this, change that. You are in control of what you decide is true and real and what isn't. And you can decide to say, you know what, I'm not going to keep calling myself lazy. I'm not going to keep telling myself that I don't do this or I always do that. Or this is just how I am. I'm going to tell myself something new. I'm going to cause and create a different way of perceiving this. Tap the side of the ribs. Okay, so back to that limiting thought or those limiting thoughts that you've been telling yourself that may have been prolonging or even creating this discomfort. Tapping the inside of the wrist. This thought, and then say that negative thought again. Maybe it's, I deserve to suffer, or this is just what people my age experience. Tapping the side of the thumb. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Big deep breath. Tapping the index finger. I give myself the possibility of releasing this thought. Tap the middle finger. I'm no longer aligned with intensifying or contributing to this discomfort by hiding, lying to myself, ignoring myself, trying to look good for others. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to loving and forgiving myself. Big deep breath. And I want you with the next breath to take your hands and scoop down towards the ground and bring this wave of forgiveness up the front of your body like confetti. Just whoosh, throw it into the air over you and let it rain down. And as it rains down, breathe it in. Imagine it's forgiveness dust, this iridescent, prismatic pixie dust of pure forgiveness, and everywhere it gets on you, it gets in you, it just poof, 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 dissolves any wrongdoing, any harm, releasing you, allowing you to feel free and spacious inside. Breathing it in, tapping the chest. I'm allowing myself to create a new experience for myself. Tapping the front of the ribs. To experience this and then say what it is you're going through. This cleanse, this difficult psychological yoga move, this time of whatever that is for you. I'm allowing myself to experience this as, and then what would something more productive be? So instead of a limitation, a time of muscle building, a time of receiving love and care, a time of learning, a time of relaxing my focus to just live in this tiniest present moment. So that's one trick I use when I'm really in discomfort. For example, birthing a baby is so intense that you can really only live inside that one breath. And some experiences, like grieving, for example, can be the same, where you're just getting through it breath by breath, living in these micro moments, super present, right? And with coming out of addiction, like AA, they say one day at a time, that you don't quit forever, you're quitting for today. You can reassess, you can quit for tomorrow, reassess. You do the same each day. You're only managing one day. Tapping the top of the head. I'm allowing myself to shift my perspective to one that is more useful. So what would a more useful perspective for you to be saying to yourself be? This is going to be replacing some of those negative self-talk statements that we just tapped on. So I'm giving myself a reframe that this is a time of, and then say what it is for you. Deep self-love. This is a time of rejuvenation, healing, cleansing. This is a time of reformulating and redesigning. And then say what it is you're redesigning. This is a time of strength, fortitude, showing up, learning consistency, tapping the chest, big deep breath. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the front of the ribs, releasing any remaining fear or contraction. So tuning in to see if you still feel any contraction or fear, or what you do feel around your topic. Tuning into what is still yet to be processed. Tapping the side of the ribs. Take 1 whole minute and say what's still there for you. Maybe you're like, I'm still frustrated with, or I'm still annoyed by, or I'm still in shock over, or I'm still grieving. Whatever it is for you. Say it again, tapping the inside of the wrist, and breathe. Tapping the side of the thumb, keep talking and tapping. Tapping the index finger and breathing. Tapping the middle finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself exactly as I am right now, even in the middle of this journey of, and then what is your beautiful reframe? Of discovering how to do what, or how to become what, or how to go where. Tapping the little finger. I allow myself the possibility of releasing any remaining shame, blame, doubt, or fear. Tapping the side of the hand. Tapping the top of the head. I love and respect myself. Tapping the sides of the head and the back of the head. Tapping the eyebrows. I give myself the possibility, tapping the temples, of enjoying this process more than I thought. Tapping the cheeks. Allowing myself to find the beauty. Tapping under the nose. What is the silver lining here? What is one thing that you know you are getting out of this? Strength, resiliency, compassion for others who are going through or have been through a similar process. Tapping the chest. I'm open to loving and trusting myself, thanking myself for learning how to do what? Tapping the front of the ribs, thanking myself for resiliency. Tapping the side of the ribs, thanking myself for learning how to let go. Tapping the inside of the wrist, thanking myself for learning how to hang on. Tapping the side of the thumb. I am processing any remaining, and then say what might still be there for you. Tuning into it and breathing. Big deep breath. Tapping the index finger. Tapping the middle finger. I love and accept myself. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. Allowing myself to make it through with ease, with peace. Tap the little finger. With trust in myself, with trust in life. Tap the side of the hand. Allowing myself to connect to the source of life. Big deep breath. Just tuning into the source of life itself, this eternal spiral of life that we are but mere light particles on this winding, spiraling thread that moves through time. Allowing ourselves to be supported by those who've gone before, to find our places in the now. Relaxing how we hold ourselves. Receiving blessings and wisdom from those who are much further along in this process. Tapping the top of the head. I'm allowing myself to relax, to be in this present moment where there is safety. Tap the eyebrows where there is peace. Tapping the temples where there is the ability to breathe. Big deep breath. I am releasing myself into this present moment. Tapping under the nose. Resourcing myself. Tapping under the lips. Resourcing myself in time. Tapping the chest. Allowing myself to feel held, to be guided. Tapping the front of the ribs, and to be loved through this time. Tap the side of the ribs. I am creating, and say what you're creating for yourself. It's new positive thoughts, a new way of looking and holding this experience for yourself. Say it out loud. Take one whole minute. What are you creating for yourself? I am creating myself to be, have, do, or feel what? Tapping the side of the thumb. Allowing myself to be here. Tap the index finger to be gentle and patient with myself. Tap the middle finger to release the need to push, pull, or contract. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. Allowing myself to find peace and maybe play and pleasure during this time. What would that be like? Imagine yourself finding some peace here, enough to even find play and pleasure. The pleasure might be getting some really good sleep. The pleasure might be taking half a day to just rest, meditate, stretch your body, get out in nature. Tapping the top of the head. The play might be to make up a silly song, to wear something wild while you're dealing with this. Tap the eyebrows. I give myself the possibility. Tap the temples. Of relaxing, allowing this to flow. Tap the cheeks. Releasing the need to fear or contract. Tapping under the nose. Being grateful that I can grow. Tapping under the lips. Being grateful that I can learn. Tapping the chest. Allowing myself to evolve through this time, through this experience of, and then say what your experience is. Tap the front of the ribs. I'm allowing myself to relax and appreciate, tap the side of the ribs, the gift that is part of this process. Again, let's name that gift. What are you getting from this? Maybe you're learning to become really good at setting boundaries. Maybe you're learning to become fearless. Maybe you're learning to love yourself. Say it one more time. Big, deep breath. I am learning what? And I'm allowing this to be easier than I thought and more fun than I imagined possible. Tapping all over the body and breathing. Good job. How are you feeling? What are you noticing? And what are you committed to? If you're live, pop it in the chat where I can read your comments. I can tell you that when I'm dealing with something difficult, I might not get it on the first try or the second try, but as long as I keep moving myself in that direction and working with my mind, my resistance, my excuses, I find myself eventually softening and flying right on through that experience. And I want to remind you that sometimes things that are worth a great deal come through a lot of struggle at one point. Like, for example, birthing a child or raising a child and ending up with a very cool, mature adult friend that you helped create with that, dealing with all of those things. So it's not that we just want to go, well, I don't want to deal with difficult things, or I just want everything to be easy. Sometimes it is actually because it was so challenging. It becomes very, very valuable, that lesson that you learned or that project that you did. You get this deep sense of satisfaction and pride from going through that experience. So I'm going to read a few comments in the chat. Let's see, it's moving pretty quick. Christina says, 10 years ago tomorrow I lost my sight, still processing that, probably always will be. And congratulations to you for still being here, Christina. And choosing to come to Circle. Tracy says, after years of escaping my discomfort, I now feel it's there for me to know thyself. Thanks so much, Sonya. William says, I went from a 9 down to a 4. I've been stuck in my head so much that I forgot to stay more grounded. Thank you, and see you next week in LA. Oh, how fun. Roberto says, feeling lighter. Stephanie says, didn't have much emotion come up tonight, but lots of burping, which is another way of processing emotions. Worked on the discomfort of the anticipation of having difficult conversations. That's really smart. And I recommend anyone to go back and use this tap again on imagined discomfort. That's kind of a pre-tap. And you'll find that whatever it is, whether it's a to-do list or a conversation, will be a lot smoother. Let's see. What else is here? Barbara says, I found as I tap often, it isn't until later that I get the resolution from the subject. It's like the tap is everlasting. It is like the tap is everlasting because you're actually changing circuits in your brain that your consciousness is running through. And when you change those, you will notice extended and expanded effects through time. That's why the more tapping time you put in, the clearer and cleaner your nervous system is, the more fun you're going to have, the more intelligent you will feel, the less reactive you will become, the more pleasure you will be able to withstand, the more creative you will become. It's so worth digging in and moving through that discomfort. Denise says, feeling so much more peace inside now. Much love and gratitude. Amity says, excellent session and stellar closing, Sonya. So wise. I do feel that, and this is like birthing myself. Joyce says, taking my place in the world is to be celebrated and recognized for my talents, gifts, wisdom, creativity, and brilliance, and for being supported for it joyfully. Well, these are long check-ins. I do have a long song for you, so I'm going to read the rest of these to myself as I sit here and listen to this beautiful new song by one of my favorite medicine singers, Tara Divina. I know her personally. I love her. Her voice is amazingly healing. I hope you enjoy this song. You can find her on Spotify and Bandcamp. The song is called Grief. I will play that for you. I'm going to put up the donate button. Donate if you can. Thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you in LA this coming weekend at Disclosure Fest, and I will definitely see you in the circle soon.
Let it in to break you open. Let it in to fall apart. Listen to the voice